Okay, let's get rid of that glare a little bit. There you go. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run, and today we are going to be continuing our series on updating the precons. Last time we did the white-red armed and dangerous equipped deck. It was fine. Not too sure how well it would fare given that we didn't really get any new equipment for that. So we're gonna continue on through the enemy colors. So we're gonna go over with the fireworks deck. So first we'll go over the old one, and then we'll talk about our new take. We've gone through one take, but there are many different options we can go along there. So let's go right off the bat with the usual stuff. And as usual, this update is currently just including cards from Midnight Hunt. We'll probably do another one, basically as new sets come along, because I have no idea when people will be seeing this video. Usually people will check this video out as soon as they get into Magic, more or less. So I need to take into account what cards might have changed, what metas might have changed, and whatnot. So as you can see, this one is spell-centric deck. It does center around having a lot of wizards. You'd notice that all the creatures here would tend to be wizards here. So, but that said, it does run into a few problems. So right off the bat, my first cut would have been Maelstrom Muse. It's a 2/4 flyer that makes the next instant or sorcery cheaper. So the ones that really benefit would be the Faraday's Fireball and the Meteor Swarm, but that's kind of not enough. In fact, now that we're at it, the Faraday's Fireball is actually would actually be my next cut here. It isn't that great. Also, the other thing is you want the spells to be instant sorcery as much as possible. So I actually ended up cutting a lot of the underperformers. Kaza, Royal Chaser, she never performed during her time in Zendikar. Because she relies on having a number of wizards, and that's basically what we call wishful thinking. It's also not gonna quite cut it. Same, the Prismari Pledge Mage is good in the sense that you put a few of these down and you combine them with a spell once in a while. It's very quick aggro, but we have a better choice than Prismari Pledge Mage now, so this one also gets the axe. Actually, I ended up axing quite a bit. I adjusted a few numbers. Arcane Investigator also got an axe. It's nice to draw cards, but it's very rare that you're in a situation where you can freely draw cards off 6 mana. It's like you'd have to be in a situation where your opponent is gas out, you're kind of gas out. This is kind of what you have left. I also ended up cutting the Basalt Ravagers for that same reason. Basically, you have to consider that right now it's not exactly that friendly to having a lot of creatures on board. The magic toughness right now is at least 3, so if you're gonna play Basalt Ravager, you need to have at least 2 other creatures. It's okay for what it is, but at 4 mana, it's still a 4/2, but it's also super vulnerable that way. Oddly enough, the mana base gets a little bit hurt because, well, you can account for Demilich having a cost reduction, but again, because the magic toughness number 3 toughness, this guy gets sniped very easily. So as a mythic, doesn't last very long. Also, doesn't exactly work. It does have some inevitability, keeps getting itself back, but we don't actually. But in the original build, not exactly that many instants and sorceries, so kind of a hard take. The good spells here would actually be the Demon Bolt, Expressive Iteration, Agar, the Prismari Command, the Creative Outburst, but we can make some adjustments to that. So we're gonna take a look at our adjusted list. So what are the changes? First, we'll start with those stuff that we increased up. We maxed out the Demon Bolts. Basically, it's a combo with Agar. We did cut down the number of Agars to 2 because we're not exactly going to be too reliant on creatures this much. It's more of, we have to play this more as a control build. We play it only when we're able to take advantage. So ideally, you've foretold the Demon Bolt, you play Agar, then you cast Demon Bolt immediately. That's pretty much how you get advantage over time. We didn't max out Expressive Iteration, though we probably can. What we did was we changed out the removal to add Frostbite and Fading Hope. Basically have something relatively cheap. Our instant and sorcery count is now at 25, and actually for good reason. Remember I said the Pledge Mages are out. Our replacement is Delver of Secrets. Now we are blind flipping most of the time, so that is an issue. But generally with around 25, it's like a 50-50 chance. So it's kind of fine. Also a lot of times opponents tend to just kill this guy immediately, so it's a good way to it's a good take to slow down our opponent's tempo by forcing them to respond to our stuff even while it's still a 1/1 for 1. I added a few copies of Malevolent Hermit. Basically, extra creatures. Also happens to be a wizard at all times, and gives us a few counter spells where it counts. Usually, our concern is our opponents responding to our stuff. So Malevolent Hermit and Benevolent Geist work that way. We're testing out the copy of Smoldering Egg. This guy usually gets killed, but once in a while we're able to get a good flip, or we're able to force our opponent to concede early. We added another Prismari command. We kept the Meteor Swarm. Our non-wizard creature is Galazet Prismari. It's pretty much always an all-star, especially since we upped the number of spells that can double as treasure tokens. So we've upped the Creative Outburst to 2. We added the Magma Opus. So our added synergies here is Torrent Sculptor. Remember this guy? It used to be a combo at the time where you would where turn 2 you would dump your Creative Outburst, make a treasure token. Turn 3 you get Torrent Sculptor. You'd have a 6/6 with Ward. Now removal is relatively better, so I wouldn't count on this one sticking around that much, but it's still but it is annoying enough, and perhaps with the right protection we can get along that way. Actually, some adjustments could be made, like you could choose to say cut the Fading Hopes, just add more Juari's Disruptions just to add the land count. Also, instead of Demi-Lich, we are running Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. Having a lot of cheap spells means you have a lot of cards that you have a lot of spells that can easily fill the yard. So the idea is you're able to flash them back. Good stuff. Another one we're testing out is Seize the Storm. It basically counts the instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard plus the ones with flashback you own in exile. So not much in the way of flashback, but we are loading up the yard, so 2 shots at a big creature token can sometimes seal the deal. We are running a snow-covered land base primarily for Frostbite. I've considered adding Graven Lore and the Thundering Fumarole, but right now, most likely it would probably be to, say, replace the Meteor Swarm or replace one of our underperforming rares. Like the Torrent Sculptor does double as removal if we need it, but it could be replaced. The multiple choice is still here for now, but that could also be replaced. So many options to consider. Again, as usual, mana base, max the pathways to 4. Add a few Frostboil Snarls for now. Though this is more likely to benefit with the slow lands, so that's something to keep in mind. And that's pretty much it for our early consideration. So we'll get a few games in. We'll see how it goes, and we'll use that to inform us what needs to change and what sideboard do we need. It's also possible that because especially for keeping the Torrent Sculptor in innovation, we might, well, at least we have a decent start. Turn 1 Delver. Turn 1 Delver is enough to scare anyone, even if our opponent's on the lead. Shambling Gas would be annoying, but on the flip side, if our opponent decides to sack this one and nuke it, they're less one treasure token, so we could be fine there. Yeah, they just Deadly Dispute. They still get the treasure token off the dispute, but they're just up 1 treasure, up 2 cards. They're technically down 2 cards to make it happen, so we can go with that. We're probably not going to Frostbite this early, so we're going to foretell the Behold the Multiverse. We won't have tree... Now, Sorn is actually fine here. So, we do need double blue. Always kill Sorn given it whenever you have a chance. So we will have options between Scry 2, Draw 2, and we're most likely going to cast a Scry 2, Draw 2. Skullport Merchant. So our opponent can use it to draw a card or say, yeah, it's a good thing we nuked the Sorn at that time. So we're going to Behold the Multiverse because we need lands. And they're both Frostball Snarls, which is awkward. We're going to keep one. Okay, that's fine. We hit our Volatile Forward. We hit our Demon Bolt. Also, this is sacrifice another creature, so... Oh, this is awkward. Because we can make it a 4/4. Also, the concern is that our opponent might have something bigger, like a Goldspan Dragon, that we really want to snipe. We could just discard the Creative Outburst to Flamethrower Sonata, but that's a bit overkill. We're just gonna foretell this one for now. And we're gonna hold... Technically, what we could do is we can ditch the treasure, ditch this to make a treasure token, go for that setup. Our opponent might just hit us for one, which we're fine with. Also, for our opponent's Sudden Breakthrough. Yeah, we'll snipe it now because our opponent's already invested a card on this. Also, it looks like our opponent might be playing the standard treasure deck at this rate. So, some choices here. If I seize the Storm now, this is 1, 2, 3. It's a 3/3. It's too small. We can end up exiling it, but it doesn't benefit this. We can hold for Prismari Command at least. Yeah, we'll hold for Prismari Command for now. I would actually prefer to cast Creative Outburst, but we're not quite there yet. Since our opponent's gonna let that go, we're gonna deal 2 damage to them. We're gonna draw 2, discard 2. Opponent could have a... Okay, so we probably want to keep the land. We'll discard the Creative Outburst. And discard the Seize the Storm. Hit another Delve. Wait, before we play that, let's play the Expressive Iteration. So we want the Malevolent Hermit in hand. We want the Delver in the library. We want the land. So we can play Delver. Make our opponent just spend removal. And just hold the Demon Bolt for now. Technically, we can actually just foretell it. It's fine. Like our... And then... Yeah, opponent just has a kill spell. That's perfectly fine. Also, if you're wondering why Shock, because it's an arena, this probably gets replaced with Play with Fire. I'm just assuming our opponent's Devar Intellect, so they get to look at our hand. Well, they can't take the Snow-Covered Island, which is good because we get to Seize the Storm with that. If they can discard one of our 2 creatures, probably the Torrent Sculptor. Oh, they're really holding back here. So we'll go for a 1-shot Seize. Give ourselves a 7/7. Our opponent probably has a kill spell for this. Opponent goes Deadly Dispute. They're now digging. Yeah, this is kind of why you want hard removal. I think our... Yeah, Magda, Brazen Outlaw. I'm so tempted to just Demon Bolt this now, but I'm really concerned our opponent might have something bigger. So I'm gonna swing first. If our opponent has a combat trick, they probably resolve it right then and there. No, they don't. Also, this has having trample is quite nice. So we can cast Agar the Freezing Flame. Oh, I probably should cast Malevolent Hermit first. That's a mistake. Because we kind of need the Malevolent Hermit to protect Agar if it gets to that. Fortunately, our opponent does not go for it. Our opponent could easily just do a board wipe of some sort. Though it's gonna miss. It's gonna dodge a 7/7 unless it's Blood on the Snow, which our opponent does not have based on the mana base here. We will let our opponent make a treasure. In fact, we will take the hit. Yeah, Sudden Breakthrough makes treasures, but it's kind of a horrible combat trick at this stage. Yeah, you get the benefits from sacking treasures. Make very good use with Deadly Dispute. Yeah, opponent goes Deadly Dispute, so denies the card draw, but also, which is actually fine. Grim Wanderer, it's fine actually. Grim Wanderer is actually nice tech for this kind of deck. What's... Let's do a quick check there. What is up in that? Oh, nothing much. Okay, fine. Oh, opponent goes for the Feed the Swarm. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. Yeah, that's worth protecting. So we'll probably behold the Multiverse first, see if we can hit a removal spell, because we can go for the win that way. Yeah, we'll take both. Play the Smoldering Egg though, it's kind of unnecessary at this point. And while we don't get to draw a card off Frostbite, it should do it. And there we go. Big hits. I kind of want to have more copies of this card, but it's hard to determine what to cut at this point. So I'm testing it out with one. We need to find cards that don't exactly carry their weight, so we can fill it in with cards that do. So the Fading Hope is kind of on the list at that point. We'll keep going. What other cards are in consideration? The multiple choice. Agar still fine. If you have more Magma Opus, you probably want more of that. But actually having something that's cheaper is not too bad. We'll keep this one. We'll lead off on Mountain, then hold up for Jwari Disruption. It'll be a sad Torrent Sculptor, but we might have options for that. Oh, nice. Got the Demon Bolt already. So, again, we'll hold this one because we're more likely to cast the Jwari Disruption. Especially if our opponent's going green-blue. Yeah, let's mess up their timing. So now we have the option to either Frostbite or Demon Bolt as needed. Opponent might just go for a Field Trip. Nope, Prosperous Innkeeper. We'll snipe it while they're still down at one. While they're still down at this mana. Okay, nice. We hit the mana here. Yeah, not too sure if I want a 3/3 Torrent Sculptor. I kind of want to wait to cast the Demon Bolt first. Now, we do have concerns, like if our opponent casts a Coma, that is gonna be kind of lights out for us. So maybe we want to have options for that card. We can't Field Trip, we have to let that through. Yeah, it's probably likely our opponent's just gonna ramp into something big. We just took out their small stuff, but we don't have an out to their big one. Our opponent could also just go for the Environmental Sciences to be sure. Yeah, this is looking really bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they land a Coma, it's a problem. I think it's still correct to pass. Already the Torrent Sculptor is it's only 2 copies, but we happen to have 2 copies. Yeah, they have the Coma as predicted. So oh wait. Oh, I should have done that before they made the Serpent. Oops. I was not thinking. I didn't realize I had enough burn. So we could Torrent Sculptor, but that doesn't do damage to that, so we're gonna wait. Our opponent could have another Coma, which would be really annoying. We don't have an out for that. We could Lier, but there's a good chance our opponent has their... Okay, they're probably going for an Alrund's Epiphany. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they're gonna have lots of mana at this point. We can still play Lier. We will have to accept one flash is gonna come in. There's a Smoldering Egg. So I need to decide between just max out with Lier or just go for the Torrent Sculptor. I guess because ideally we want to do Lier while we have 1 extra mana, so we can just Frostbite this guy immediately. We'll Torrent Sculptor. We'll take the Demon Bolt because that gives us the most. We're still vulnerable to a series of Alrund's Epiphanies. I actually had a Crush the Weak on the main deck at one point, but I ended up cutting it for the time being. We probably definitely want that on sideboard for certain. Yeah. There's another Coma, and we don't have a... So now we can't really answer that Coma. We can... I could just play the Delver and the Smoldering Egg, hold the Lier for later, or we can play the Lier now. Hope our opponent doesn't have an out for doesn't kill it right away, so we can play, so we can Smoldering Egg Delver, then just double cast the Frostbite. No point attacking, but this is Next week we'll be doing the green-blue one, so we're definitely loading up on Comas. We're going for I don't think we're gonna be able to handle an all-mythic build. If our opponent swings with Coma plus these guys, we block them. If not, we kind of have to take the hit. We go down. Yeah, I think it's safe to concede at this point. Yeah, slow off the bat. Counter spells would not have helped against Coma here. It would have helped against their ramp, which is something that we could consider. We did make good use of the. We could have saved some. We could have played a little bit better, but ultimately it wasn't gonna pan out for us there. So that's a bit sad, but we'll keep going. So that might be an argument for having more Fading Hopes, but that's also called just delaying the inevitable. Also, why did I choose Fading Hope over Into the Royal, which is slightly more, more expensive, but gives you the option to draw a card? I think that's the reason, because it's just more expensive. The draw card is nice, but not... Okay, opponent's playing white. We'll do this now while it's still relevant. Now I'm actually gonna just we're gonna hold on the Malevolent Hermit for a bit, so we're gonna just foretell the Demon Bolt. Luminar Aspirant, which is fine because we can. It's still frostbiteable. Having this many lands, however, is not good. Technically, I could have waited. Oh no, I played the pathway. If I played the Snow Cover Island, we could have waited. So we kind of want to wait one turn. Like if our opponent decides to play Elite Spellbind, no, it's just Clarion Spirit +1 spell, code spell. Okay. Now the interesting thing is, let's say they buff the Clarion Spirit, we can still nuke it. The bad news is we are out of cards more or less. Oh, we got another Demon Bolt, so that helps. Yeah, we had to spend quite a bit. Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, that one goes through. We might want to save the Demon Bolt for when our opponent swings with one of these. So I actually want to just foretell. Because if our opponent were to say have an Elite Spellbinder, I can just chuck this Mega Token. I also have to be concerned that our opponent might be playing Book of Exalted Deeds. Not quite yet though. So the thing, what we can do is we can snipe this. Let's see how our opponent attacks. Okay, got greedy, attacked with everything. So we're gonna hold the Creative Outburst for now. We're not gonna fire it off quite yet. Opponent does have a Clarion Spirit. Ooh, now we're flooding, so maybe I don't want to discard Creative Outburst if I don't have to. So we're gonna hold back the Clarion Spirit. No, not Clarion. We're gonna hold back our own Spirit. Opponent most likely going to just... If they have the Book of Exalted Deeds, that is a problem because we won't be able to... We will need to have one more mana to nuke it. Opponent giving up the Clarion Spirit. So we hit an Agar, which I'm kind of fine with because it allows us to... It allows us to chump block the Faceless Haven. It won't chump block the Cave Dragon though, which our opponent should consider using. Yeah. Elite Spellbinder. Okay, now we have to give this up. It's a shame. Ooh, opponent mistap, but that didn't really matter that much. Yeah, the flood is real though. So we're gonna take 4 in the air. We can 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's good. That's good game. We simply flooded out a bit. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Also, but I will say we are holding up a bit of a fight against all these all rare decks. So no shame in losing to these guys because you know you're playing on a budget. That said, that said, the mana issue isn't the lands are a bit of an issue. We probably do want more card draw, so maybe another Behold the Multiverse. Consider is something to consider. Play on words, but we'll take it. So only 2 lands though, so this is a bit scary. We will lead on Frostball Snarl though. So we get to Frostbite the first thing our opponent plays. I kind of want to just Fading Hope this card. Yeah, actually we can pass. We don't have to do it now. Like if we're missing mana, we have options. But basically I want to hold it up like this. Let's see if our opponent plays a Luminarch Aspirant. Monk of an Open Hand. So his opponent's going for a 2-speller. Let's see what the second spell is. Probably Code Spell. Yep, Code Spell Cleric. So we'll see how our opponent stacks it. We probably don't want another Behold the Multiverse. Okay, we hit the land, but we will do Expressive Iteration first. So we definitely want... I want to Seize the Storm, but it might be a bit... It might be a tad early. I think I want the Demon Bolt. I want the Storm in the Library, and I want to exile this. We will still play this land though. So we kind of slowed our opponent down a bit, which is good news. So the plan is pretty much ditch the Magma Opus, give ourselves a 6/6 and see how far we can take it. Redain. So and it enters tapped anyway, so it doesn't hurt us. I am so tempted to just cast Demon Bolt now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just foretell it. We'll see what else our opponent has. Paladin class. Okay, we need to fire off now. Okay, opponent's just gonna go for the big 2/2. So we actually hit the Delver. So we need to consider our options. I definitely want to go for this combo. Probably didn't have to do it right away though. I could play the Delver now actually. Wait, because the option is I want to play Gallus at Prismari, then just cast this. So we'll see how it goes. Our opponent might have another Redain which messes things up. If our opponent goes... Okay, so it gets +1/+1 and... Nope. No, it doesn't get +1/+1. It does get the double strike. So with that... We'll play the Galazet. Give ourselves another token. Then we can decide between the Behold the Multiverse or the Frostbite, which we probably need more. Actually, we can do Behold the Multiverse, hope for a land, but I think I'm going to hold it back for now. Skyclave Apparition. It will take out Galazet. So I'm actually going to just float red. And double check we do have oh, I should have floated twice. Oops. I forgot about the Paladin class. Okay, that's fine. Does our opponent have a way to protect it? I doubt it. So our opponent could attack into this. We end up trading. we will trade. Basically, we need to force our opponent in a position where they need to make creatures. Opponent plays the Usher of the Fallen. So... and we go for the combo, we take out the Magma Opus. That gives us a 6/6. It's still a bad trade with Usher. But so I might end up chumping with Delver for this. Actually, if our opponent decides to activate with Faceless Haven, that I might really have to consider. But then again, it has to be for each other attacking creature. So one creature has to be chump blocked by Delver. The other creature will have to die. Now, Torrent Sculptor is for... yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Another Skyclave Apparition. Opponent will have the mana to pay for the ward. So, yeah, not perfect. Skyclave Apparition still ruining other people's games. It does prevent them from... ghosting, which is a good thing. So... I think we take 6, as much as I don't like it, but we kind of have to. Yeah, we might end up losing this one at this rate. Decline. Technically, I could have done the Behold first, but oh wow, we're definitely dropping off both. So, slightly awkward. We do get the Leer. So we need to hold back. The problem is our opponent can attack with enough creatures to kill us. It just but the nice thing is that this happens to have be at 5. So I'm probably gonna... let's see if our opponent has a way to nuke this. If they have something like a Borrowed Time, it's super annoying. They need to choose which one to give double strike to. They're giving that one double strike, so we can we'll take 5, which is painful. Doesn't give it trample, thank goodness. Okay, so with that situation, best bet is actually to do an expressive iteration so we can set up our next hand. So we definitely want the Demon Bolt. The Fading Hope is starting to look not so great. We do have a Fading Hope in the yard though, so that's something. We can also just cast we can also cast Agar and Skyclave Apparition, but we need to hold up... oh, we can't exactly hold up Demon Bolt either. Our best bet is actually just nuke this Skyclave Apparition now. Give ourselves a blocker, which is the important part. Fading Hope the token. We will keep the Creative Outburst on top. And that leaves us... we can't foretell this. We can foretell this, but I kind of want to leave the option to Frostbite, although it's unlikely we're going to do that. We also have to be careful with this because Paladin class does mess up our math a lot. We can only cast the Frostbite at this point, so which is annoying. Opponent goes Elite Spellbinder. Which is fine. We still lose a spell. Most likely we lose Agar. That's the bet. That's probably the best bet. I'm probably gonna end up foretelling the Demon Bolt at this rate. Yep. Oh no, we lose the Demon Bolt, so this will cost 6 mana on our opponent's turn. Opponent does an Usher. Which is fine here because we get to do Agar. Leered. Okay, we got an Expressive Iteration, but I need to decide if I know I won't be able to cast either of these. I can Expressive Iteration for another land, and so I hold up Frostbite if I need to. Okay, perfect. So definitely want the Torrent Sculptor in hand. Want the Juari in the library. Want the... I didn't play a land yet, right? No, I haven't. Good. And opponent actually concedes. That we managed to get a lot of value back off Lier. So Lier is the more correct pick between Lier and Demi-Lich. Demi-Lich is more aggressive and has a little bit more resiliency, but Lier can be amazing. So we got 2 wins. It's still not great. We are losing 200 gold still if we lose this one for good, but at least we have determined that Lier is a worth it pick. The Torrent Sculptors a bit more vulnerable, so not quite the best picks, but they are still annoying enough against the right matchup. So definitely keeping this one. We will lead off on the 1-2 hold up Juari Disruption. The multiple choice, it's good when you're way ahead, but it's not so great when you're kind of behind, so that is an issue. I guess you have to remember that sometimes it's okay to cast. Okay, we can't reveal that. So we will set this at red. Now technically I can Torrent Sculptor discard the Juari Disruption, but I actually have plans to cast that, so we'll pass. Remember, Delver is kind of like a 50% flip. Actually, it's less than 50%. It's still here because it's genuinely annoying. Let's see, does our opponent go for the Blizzard Brawl? Please go for the Blizzard Brawl. No, going for the tap. Nope, holding back. Okay, if you're not doing that, then I will. Also gives me a free Scry 1, so I'll take it. Opponent might have a Snakeskin Veil, which would be annoying. But we'd rather get it out of the way at this point. Yeah, there's a Snakeskin Veil. So we will reveal. So I can swing with this, our opponent can block this. We do have, they know we have a Juari Disruption, so they have to decide if they want to give up this Sentinel. Yeah, they're just giving it up, that's fine. So... not exactly much of a choice there. Okay, we got Fading Hope. I'm thinking if I want to cast... because I have an X equals 2. Yeah, because I do want to do Torrent Sculptor eventually, so... we'll hold. X equals 3 is relatively fine. It's not great though. Esca's Chariot makes 2 tokens. We can kind of ruin it for our opponent with Fading Hope. Just be careful not to pass all the way. Opponent's forgotten that they can still activate this. Yeah, you have to pay attention to your own activated abilities. Sometimes it might be leaving the game hanging and not to your advantage. So we will nuke one kitty. So multiple. Technically, we just need one more land, and the multiple choice is really good at this point. Yeah, you can activate in response. We got to behold the multiverse. I'm actually fine with that. Yeah, let's cast this now. Snarl and snow-covered island. We probably don't want the snarl at this. Well, technically it doesn't matter because we're. Oh, it would have mattered. We would have hit the Delver. That's fine. Yeah. Also, we have the double red already, so we did not need to do this. The land would have been fine. Opponent goes for another Eska's Chariot, keeps the original one. So they're gonna go for the token swarm. Our best bet is a Torrent Sculptor, but we can only get it to 4 at this point, so not quite there yet. I can mess up their math with a multiple choice. I probably have to do that. We will keep the Frostbite. They will lose a kitty. We'll end up with a 4/4, so they'll still have a swarm of kitties, but we can still block Eska's Chariot. Our opponent could also have Blizzard Brawl, which would be a problem. Yeah, the most is Torrent Sculptor as a 4/4, which is not that great. Oh, opponent's going for this one. So they're going for the 6 damage special. They might... Oh, they have a Blizzard Brawl. So they're going for the 10. That's annoying. We might have to hold the Frostbite for this, which is really... But we're probably going to lose at this rate. I think that's a reason why I did want Crush the Weak. So we do have Demon Bolt as an option. We can Frostbite one. So 1, 2, 3. So we have a Chump Blocker. I don't think we can survive this though. Our best bet is our opponent. Yeah, because I don't think we can block enough cats at this point. Actually, ideally, our opponent activates Eska's Chariot that way. Then activates Faceless Haven. Oh, they're not even activating the Faceless Haven. So we have the Demon Bolt first. If they have another Snakeskin Veil, it's over. Kind of wish we had played the Malevolent Hermit, but we would not have had the mana. So Chump Block. So we are forced to Chump Block. So yeah, Snakeskin Veil is the new Veil of Summer. Oh, nice thing is it's targeted. So if they have yet another Snakeskin Veil, that would be 3 copies. Okay, we kind of dodged that one. So we're gonna go down to 1. We're probably gonna lose this game. We would need a way to wipe all these plus this, and our opponent can respond by equipping this. So no, it's a no-go. Yeah, Eska's Chariot is something to consider. So at least we know what we're gonna put in our sideboard. We definitely want cards like Negate. We want Disdainful Stroke. I think Disdainful Stroke's an Ikoria, so that's not an option for us. We do want to have a real rat effect. Like if we hit the meteor swarm, we would have to use up all our mana. Yeah, this is not we're not gonna win this one. Mono green is quite up there. So put this in hand. Put this in the library. Put the land. Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, we're not gonna win this one, but yeah, the timely snakeskin veils are really annoying. So we're just gonna say good game. Well, that wasn't the best outing. Definitely could use some more options. The multiple choice is. I don't think this is the deck for it. I think it benefits better in the green blue deck rather than this one. So that's something to consider. So didn't make all our money back, but we did get some good experience with this one, and we have something to consider for the next build. So okay, so first let's so quick discussion. We'll talk about how to adjust this. Definitely adding a sideboard. So first up, let's see, where's those negates? Definitely want to add at least 2 negates in the sideboard. It won't help us against Coma, so that is one thing to remember. We do get a slot for at least one other rare on the rare here. So my pick for that would be, where's the? We don't have a burn down the house yet, but we definitely will want to add that one. Yeah, definitely want to add one burn down the house here as part of our consideration. Might as well craft it now. It's a single rare. It's not. I have a bit of a budget here. So definitely keeping the burn suite, but we might want to consider other spells that are not quite spells, but we probably still need them. Actually, we can consider ways to if our opponent is removal heavy, we might want to consider You See a Guard approach as our version of dive down. It's not quite there, but it is an option. Oh, we do have Disdainful Stroke. It's in Kaldheim. So I probably want one Disdainful Stroke as an option. Oh, these are all supposed to go in the sideboard. Hold on. In fact, we're going to convert this to traditional, right? Traditional standard, because that's usually the deal. And now I have to find out. I like to Seize the Storm. Torrent Sculptor is a bit questionable now. But we're definitely cutting the multiple choice. That gives us an option for another Torrent Sculptor or another Prismari command, which is probably better. Smoldering Egg is fine. It's just... Wait, we have one more. We have one more Prismari command. Let's add that there. Because all the options are generally very good here, so that's why we're considering that. Okay, what's... there's one negate here. So let's see. Ray of Frost, as long as enchanted creature is ready, loses all abilities. Enchanted creature doesn't attack. No, we need something that hits non-land permanents, because the issue is basically Eska's Chariot, which we want to have counters for. Actually, what? Okay. Oh, the question is why no Arcane Transfusion? Because sometimes we want other cards, and basically the Expressive Iteration is a draw to in the right way. Why no? Rowan is actually a good fit here. It's something to consider. I just didn't consider it quite yet. But I definitely like the Prismari and the Magma Opus. My third mythic went to Lier, which is doing just fine. So I'm gonna keep that. Probably want another Agar on the sideboard in case our opponent is kind of aggressive. If it's playing a lot of small stuff, so having something that can block is quite good. We maxed out on Demon Bolts and Frostbites. The Thundering Rebuke could go here. Dragon's Fire is an option. Burning Hands is probably a better option because you definitely want something that can hit green creatures really hard. So probably 3 copies of Burning Hands at this rate here. That gives us 5 more slots. Yeah, Cinderclasm or Crush. I think Crush is better because we can foretell that one. So Crush the Weak. So we'll add 2 of those. Our sideboard does have a lot of red cards though, so we have to be careful on that one. Find some prisoners, that's fine. We probably want some actual counter spells as well, so saw it coming also fits in the bill here. We actually technically have actual counter spells in Negate and Disdainful Stroke, but sometimes you need something that counters. Well, let's see. Countering creature spells. There's Anti-Cognition, but it's fine. It's not great. It's just there's Confounding Conundrum if our opponent is going for. Actually, it wasn't great before in the deck that had it in the Challenger deck. I don't think it's still gonna be great now. Anti-Cognition could help. Actually, oh wait, there is one spell that can kind of do it, and it also has Foretell. Divide by 0 is also a plan, but we're not running a Learn Lesson package quite yet. Technically, we can if we, but it would be coming in from the sideboard. Yeah, Divide by 0 is not a bad idea. In fact, the Torrent Sculptors are... If it works, it works, but more often than not, it does not. So I can actually just cut these 2 in favor of something else. The thing is, I don't have that something else quite yet. We do want Raven Form though, because there are enough things that need to be exiled. You can actually add 1 Saloon Division to the deck and cut one land. You're kind of at 28-23, so not too great. You can turn off Craft actually. So this is an initial start, but I'm pretty sure there is more that we can do here. Like I said, the Torrent Sculptor is fine, but it's not panning out considering we only have like these 3. We could also eat the Seize the Storm, but it's a real feel bad. Oftentimes it's just gonna be a 4/4 ward, so it's not perfect. I'm pretty sure I'm missing something. Triskaidekaphile? No, we're not. But we're not running. We're not running the cards necessary. Another Malevolent Hermit is not a bad idea. Basically, we have something that gives us even more counters as a way to start off. There's Uvilda and Nasari. You're most likely casting this for Nasari. You're never really casting this for Uvilda. It's just too slow. Master of Winds, no. And the Red Wizards are not so... Actually, the Red Wizard consider would be Magmatic Channeler. It comes down early. It gives us card draw, so to speak. It might... Now, this one is an option. I'll leave this as an exercise for the reader. Do you substitute Torrent Sculptor with Magmatic Channeler? Because there are pros and cons here. The Torrent Sculptor can be used as removal. You have a strange Flamethrower Sonata. You discard a spell that's not exactly gonna do it, like Behold the Multiverse or a Seize the Storm. You deal the damage. You get a card back, so to speak. Well, not quite. You spend a card. You're spending 2 cards, but you get 1 card back. So it's kind of net even. Also, if there is another way to like add more seas to storms, that's also an option. So that is something I would leave for the. That's an exercise I would leave for the viewer. But as it is, this is how the deck is. So the Delver of Secrets, a little bit more likely to flip now that we've added one more spell. But so, that's something to oh, we're also missing another one. Let's just add a. We could add an Avalanche Caller. That's just speculative at best. Scab Wrangler, not likely. We're not gonna have the creatures for that. The Archmage Emeritus, you can always put it back, but my experience has always been that it dies very quickly. There's actually a Flame Channeler here. When a spell you control deals damage, transform. When a spell you control deals damage, put a flame counter, remove, exile, you may play that card. Flame Channeler is an option. Like, how many spells do we have that deal damage? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 15 spells, so that's 1/4 of the deck. You can add more if you need to. Flame Channeler is an option. It's a 2/2 for 2. I'll put it right now in the sideboard, only to fill it out, but something for you guys to decide. Again, there are many ways to adjust this, but the Fireworks deck does have promise. And let's just finish that one rare. So there we go. That's gonna be it for this episode, the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. We will be going through these at a slightly faster pace, just try to get them done before the middle of October, or somewhere along those lines. But anyway, nice Ludovic. Another Infernal Grasp is important for me though. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone.